which can only mean Blabbing for Britain. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
And good morning, Stephen.
Morning, morning, morning.
Right, okay. Behind me is a green screen. Behind Peter is his country residence. And behind Stephen is the palace in Stoke. Right.
I don't know where to look.
Okay. What's going on? Peter, what are you up to?
Oh, I'm trying to fight a dog who's wanting attention. She keeps nuzzling me. Right, go to bed. Bed. Oh, right. Yeah, so just to put Stephen out of his misery, this is my new backdrop, and it's called XSplit, and I've been on, and in fact, because of this, I've actually got two people that want to use Stephen's course, because I've been on my own channel and spent a couple of nights on it. And it's very good, and I learned a few things from it last night. One, don't wear a black jacket that's shiny, and also don't wear a chair that's higher than your shoulders, because that's what affects it. Now today, I'm actually sitting in my kitchen, and I've positioned it so it's an all-white background behind me, and that's why it's not a bad picture.
Yep.
And it's called XSplit. The thing is, I don't know if you know, Stephen, but your backdrop, you can actually see the edge of it.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't zoomed in enough.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Okay.
And the thing is, it generates conversation. People are interested in how it's done and can they do it too, and that's what it's all about.
Can you put your you can put your company logo top left as well, presumably.
Yes.
Green.
Yeah.
I like it. Where'd you go to get this?
Internet.
No.
XSplit. It's called xsplit.com.
XPLIT.
Split. XSplit. VCAM. That's the bit, the one you download. And just to show you, while Stephen's doing that, I'll change to something for you. I'll go into a brighter office, actually. Come on. My CPU's slow today. Let's have a look at this. I'll put on
Only available for Windows.
Yeah. Oh, but there's even better news. If you go for eCam, it's more stable. It's even better.
eCam.
eCam. Bridgetta's got it, and it's fantastic. I thought she was in a real office. Now here's the real office I'm in. Okay.
Yeah, that's the real office. You've got the palm trees. You've brought them from Stoke.
Nice. So again,
yeah. Sorry?
No, I was talking to Steve.
Does that look nice?
It looks very nice,
yep.
Yes.
Yeah. The Mac version is called eCam, Stephen.
Ah, thank you. I quite like the idea of a Manhattan skyline behind, New York Manhattan skyline behind me. If you can sort that for me, Pete.
Yeah. Oh, you can download the stock files and everything. This is a stock.
Yeah.
This is a stock photograph. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, CAMM. ECAMM.
Yeah.
Try it for free.
And do you know,
a Mac.
Stephen, did you stay on long watching me last night?
I was no.
Short answer. Okay, no, that's fine. Because my friend's quite big and there's just no room for the two of us, and it doesn't work with two of you sitting there. Yeah.
No, I wondered how you did it. Yeah, I mean, there are limitations. There are limitations. Once you get to know them and work within them, then you're okay. I mean, for instance, I can't have a green screen today because I'm hosting the show. And hosting the show takes my processor power, and the machine will run at 100%. And I might just bugger the machine up. So if you're broadcasting solo or you're a guest on the show, then it works fantastically well.
Well, what are you using, a laptop, Stephen? Is it a laptop you're using? No, Stephen.
iPad Pro.
No, I can't change my hardware, Peter. I'm quite happy with it.
No, I'm just saying, what do you use though? Is it a laptop?
No, it's a all-in-one thingy.
No, I just seen a gadget on Facebook that you plug into your computer. It's Linux. It takes over and it makes it really fast, and you still use your operating.
Yes, and it says you can run some of your programs, but not all of them.
Okay. So, is this a better picture, folks? Is this a better picture?
Right, we're going to have a contest, Kelly. How do you think Peter's looking today? Marks out of 10 for presentation. That's what it's all about. And can you see the join? Yeah. In fact, it's looking good. It'd be interesting to see what happens on the replay. That's when we can tell.
Rather nice.
Yeah. And I'm just waiting for John to arrive, with or without green screen. I don't know. I think without, Peter, don't you?
Probably myself.
Right, okay. Not that you're going to notice any difference, but this is the Valentine's edition of Blabbing for Britain, episode 164. And we're joined by the fourth musketeer. And Kelly's saying it looks good, Peter. So there you have it. And we say good morning to John. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
And
good morning, sir.
It's loud.
And Claire is giving you 10 out of 10, Peter.
Well, that's good. Well, that's because I've got a white background behind you. You know, that's the second 10 out of 10 for something that I've had in 2 weeks. Wow. I must be doing something right.
True. And John's stirring his soup. John's stirring his soup.
But I have got the delivery man out of the way before joining.
Oh, okay. John, is there any way you can get closer to you? You seem so far away today.
It seems okay. Look at you giving your orders.
Since I downloaded this latest piece of software, Logitech Capture,
yes,
it doesn't want to let me in the show if I'm running Logitech Capture.
Right.
So I think I'm going to go and reload the drivers where at least I can control the thing without being blocked out the show. Unless Stephen has any advice.
Well, no, I basically, I found it worked out the box. Well,
it works. It makes me bigger.
Yeah.
But all you get when you join the show is a blank black box.
It takes a few seconds for it to take. Anyway, just catch up with the comments for a moment. Claire is saying that, Peter, that you're a bit fuzzy around the edges, but we knew that anyway. But it looks very natural.
Yeah.
And wishing everybody a happy Valentine's Day. And well, it's you were laughing there, Stephen, but apparently you're blurry as too. So there you have it.
Yeah, you're very blurry, I'm afraid.
Very blurry. He's very blurry.
Let's just have a look. Okay, yeah. You're a bit pixelated, mate.
How bizarre.
Yeah.
Let's go through to the... could that be something to do with this signal strength?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you changed offices? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one sec.
Okay.
Take it off for a few seconds, Steve.
Okay. Stephen's going.
Right. Okay.
Moving about.
What's on the agenda today then?
Ecamm, XSplit VCam, green screens. Okay, let's start at the beginning then.
Well, I can see your green screen, but you're not using any software with it.
I can't. If I did, then my processor would definitely max out, and I wouldn't be able to do any more shows for a day or two.
I've got the screen, but there's no room to put it up in here.
Okay, can you show it again? All right. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
This is a a 3 meter by 2.5 meter one. It's massive.
Yeah. But it's just so small in its packaging. Deceptive.
Sorry?
It's deceptive when it's in its packaging.
All right. Well, most of them fold into 4. This one folds into 6.
All right.
You know.
So will you be joining the green screen revolution? Is the question.
Well, that's black, both sides, and then I have a hood that goes over the top to change it to different colours. The thing with mine is it's designed for photography, not for video. And the thing goes all the way over the top and then along the floor, so a person can stand on the floor and be completely surrounded by green screen. And for my pokey little office, it's over the top. I might invest in just a small one that I can clip to the shelves.
All I done yesterday is invited my friend round for a cup of tea, and then then I made him put my screen on the back wall and everything, and it worked out good.
This is your green cloth.
Just a green cloth, and it cost me $5.99.
Well, as I said to you the other day, you know, I had to photograph some big trolley carts, and I went to Asda and just got a sheet, clipped it onto the hands in.
That's what I've done. But I'm quite impressed with this today because I'm just showing it against my kitchen wall, and oh, Stephen, you're very bright. I know you're a bright chap, but
yeah, very white out. Now, when you put your fingers to the side like that, you got your fuzziness back.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I meant to the side of your body, like, you know, you put it to your neck.
The light's shining in your face, Stephen. That's the problem.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So I'll just give you a couple of observations for what I done last night. One of the problems with the flickering was my chair is actually bigger, taller in my back. So that was causing a problem. So I changed to an uncomfortable chair. So I'll have to get that. And it's all to do with light, and all to do with lighting. My friend, he's quite good at that, and he was moving the lighting while I was sitting there. And I was quite happy, so I quite enjoyed myself last night. And because of what I'd done, John, 2 people now want to have a chat with Stephen about getting his Udemy course and maybe a wee bit of help. So there you go. What did I get? Nothing.
This is the givers gain thing, Peter. When you help people, then down the road someone will help you. Not necessarily the same people that you helped.
Yes, I know, absolutely. And no, what I did do, I put up my picture of me standing in my uniform, my pest control uniform, telling people what I'd done, and I got a few comments about that, you know. So no, it's amazing. You just go on, and you know, I speak a lot of rubbish at times, but it's amazing the people that come on for a while, then they get fed up on it, then they move on, then somebody else comes on. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So that's my observations. I think the idea would be to have a solid back screen right behind your back, taller than you, and I think that would stop a lot of problems.
And you need to light either side of you. You need to light the screen, not you.
Yes. What's that, Stephen?
I'm just pointing to the lights either side of me.
Yeah, I've got a light shining on me just now, and no, it's very good. So, but VCAM are very good. They've got an online person sitting there, and I spoke to them, and they had to send them stuff about the configuration and everything. And at first they says, "Oh, your laptop's too slow," but believe it or not, this is my laptop I'm using. So there you go. That's enough. What we're doing next? Come on, I'm getting bored.
I think, if you don't mind, just to sort of say goodbye to Gordon Banks, Sir Gordon Banks, as he should have been.
Yes.
He died yesterday, and he was a bloody great Stokey person. And everybody, you know, when you sort of say a name and you immediately attach an emotion to it. Well, it was Gordon Banks equals, you know, complete respect for a really good bloke. So very sad to see him go. It just sort of does say that out loud. And every footballer, every supporter said the same thing. So,
and you know, it was a shame they actually sold these medals because he needed money. Yeah,
the 66 World Cup winning medals.
What a damn shame! And they lost his knighthood papers. Can you believe that?
That's what they say.
Yeah, and you guys never thought that I knew anything about football. Here's a question: if you were offered a knighthood, would you take it?
No.
No. Stephen?
No.
I've never thought of it. I've never thought. I haven't. No, I've not done anything to deserve one. So no.
Okay, well, if the powers of be listening, just let me tell you, I would take it just like that, and I would go on the internet and say, "Look what I've got." Is there any money comes with it? Can I pawn this?
Dear. I mean, Gordon Banks of Stoke and Leicester.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, England World Cup winner 1966. Only England goalkeeper to win the World Cup. And
did you see what Pele said?
Agree with what Stephen said.
Yes.
Did you see what Pele said about him? There's a quote on Facebook. There's a Facebook post about it. It's blooming marvelous, really beautiful language, and it just shows what friends they became.
Yeah.
Still, long missed.
Yeah. Heck of a save, though.
Oh God.
Oh dear. Yeah. Which brings us on to England goalkeepers. Heaton for England.
Peter Bonetti.
Shilton.
Yeah.
Heaton.
All the old names are coming out.
Bonetti forced.
I'll be back in a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Stephen.
Okay. Right.
Bonetti.
Have you
when he left Leicester.
Yeah. What's happened to Chelsea? 6-0 is quite a bit of a one-sided match, isn't it, really?
Haven't Burnley been on close to that situation this year as well?
We're not in the bottom three. We're going to stay up.
Chelsea are not in the bottom three either.
No, but they got beat 6-0. It's all this City thing. They who have the money win the matches.
To Man City. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Unlimited funds. Where even Mr. Abrominov hasn't got unlimited funds at the football club, has he?
No, I suppose so. Just to remind everybody, this is the Valentine's edition of the show. Nothing different, but it's just Valentine's Day.
We're having a heart-to-heart conversation.
Yeah. Do you do anything for Valentine's Day then?
Me?
Yeah.
I got some nice steak last night. That's about it.
You know,
Peter.
My partner's away up to the Black Isle just now because her mum's not well. And we usually say to each other, we won't bother with anything. Yeah, you're right. And I always go and get a card and something. Make her feel bad.
I've got some little goodies, but we haven't gone crazy this year because we've got that wedding to pay for.
Yeah. No. Do you know, I've been on my own all week, me and the dog. And it's when somebody goes away that you miss them, isn't it? You know?
It is.
I really miss Sheila. I have to make my own breakfast, make the bed, take a dog out for a walk.
Come on, you're an old soldier. All of this is standard procedure.
Vacuum the place. I forgot to put out the bins. There you go. Right. Okay. Have you actually got some agenda today, Stephen? What we're talking about today?
Well, I don't know.
I know the hot potato at the moment.
Off you go then, Peter.
Right. So a girl went away to join ISIS at 15 years old. Yeah, that's the one. Now, should be allowed back into Britain. And before you hear from me, I want to know your views.
She wants to come home for the baby.
Yeah.
Third baby.
Yes. This is her third. Yeah.
Yes.
And the previous two have died in childbirth.
Yes.
So that's why she really wants to come home.
She still has a British passport because she hasn't been fighting for IS. So she's not been sort of had a passport taken away. She still has it. Presumably it's... Yeah,
but she married a fighter who's Dutch. So that makes it even more complicated.
Yes.
Do
you know... Yeah, on you go, Stephen.
I think she should be allowed to come back.
What would you do with that?
Take her back into the fold and she would become an ordinary citizen of Great Britain.
Well, you might be surprised at my view. I've been listening to all today. She left at 15. And she helped them, etc., etc. But I really think she should be brought in back. And then obviously, now here's the point. She should be watched and watched and watched and de-radicalized, and just she's got to spend time. But because you see, she left at 15. That's the problem. Because she was still a juvenile. If you look at Twitter and things, most people said you've made your bed and lie in it. And you know what my views are, but this is the one time I'm not sure, you know? So there you go. Because when you've got an enemy, excuse me,
right, sorry, I'll bring him back now. I didn't know whether you were actually going to explode on screen, Pete.
No,
right.
no,
Okay,
it would have been a green screen right enough. But
oh, thank you. The image will stay with us for a long time.
Right. So anyway, so basically, if soldiers are fighting one another and you capture them in civilized armies, you make them a prisoner of war. And that's it. So my views may have surprised you this morning. Have they?
Pleasantly so, Peter. Pleasantly so.
Yes.
Johnny, you got anything to add to the story?
Well, she claims that at 19 she's a totally different person, which I guess is in her favour. It's the child that matters more than her, as far as I'm concerned, because whatever the child has done, it's done nothing. Didn't make sense at all, but the sentiment is that, you know, the child has had no influence over its own history, has it? So if we take the child back, the child should be treated fairly. I am not so sure, because the kid, well, she's 19, she's not a kid now, she's an adult, still has the same belief that she had when she left.
That's right. So she comes back and we take a baby and say, thank you, we'll look after this for a while.
Right. And Claire's saying she seems to be unrepentant about what she's done and doesn't regret leaving.
No, she doesn't. She's absolutely adamant. Anyway.
So as she's married to a Dutchman, shouldn't she go to Holland with him?
She's never been to Holland.
No, but he's been to Holland.
She's no
from, and both of them are no longer in the caliphate or whatever you want to call it. So surely he should take his wife home.
Oh, but no, he's a prisoner. He'll probably get executed or something. But he's a prisoner. But is the marriage legal? We don't know. Who married them? So that's another problem.
Things are stirring. Right, okay, let's change the topic. Thank you, John.
Let's talk about Brexit.
How do you know it?
No. Before we get to Brexit, I want some. This is a story that Claire might know something about, as well as the BBC. we're all being encouraged by the poet laureate to pay tribute to the nation's forests by writing a poem. When's the last time you wrote a poem? Oh, can you write one now? About trees? Shall we write one?
Yeah. I'm not into poetry.
A line a piece. So you do a line, he does a line, I do a line, you do it. It'll be crazy. Do you remember, I'm going back to ECAB days, we did have stories where people wrote a line. You know, we were trying to write a book. People wrote a line, then someone else wrote a line. I don't think they ever got finished, did they? But
no, never-ending stories. Indeed.
I've got a quick little poetry bit for you.
Over to you, Peter.
A leaf gives life, and without them, there would be strife, because we wouldn't be able to breathe, because we need them to breathe.
So Peter's now being the king of chlorophyll.
Photosynthesis.
Right. Indeed. We need the trees. What's your favourite? Let's go with favourite forest. Mine's Sherwood Forest, which I've had the pleasure of actually visiting and walking around. Where's your favourite forest, Peter?
Well, we've got quite a few forests here, but the one I've just got one up here. I've got one to the north of me, and I've got one to the south in the little forests, and there's one over at a place called Hazel Head. And one day I was walking to the far bit of Hazel Head, and I was walking there, and there was loads of white patches on it. And I said, I wonder what this is. And as I was walking down it, I looked across, and next to the forest is the crematorium, and people have been putting ashes on the ground. That's what they do in that forest, and I've been walking on them. It's a nice area.
Funnily enough, you know, Leamington Spa and Warwick are sort of more or less one town.
Okay.
Their crematorium is out in a very, very large wood, and they have two crematoriums, one either end of the wood, and they've got walks where you can specifically go around and sprinkle the ashes on the walks.
All right, okay. I thought it was technically illegal.
Well, it's council property, and they said you can do it, can they? Because my sister, half of her ashes came home. She wanted them spread in Bruton Park. We stupidly asked council if we could do it, and well, it never happened. There are no forests where I live.
Well, looking to have
flats and
we've got Savanac
wood at the end of the reservoir, which is a couple of 100 yards from where I live. That's quite pleasant. And we have a wood, I guess, called Coldlands Wood, which was close to where I grew up with my mum and dad. And my brother bought a house in one of the roads that goes alongside the wood and has a gate into the wood where we used to play as kids. I don't know whether that was a greater influence on his purchase, but his children now enjoy the wood where we played as kids. End of my bit.
We've got Savanac Forest near us, which was the king's hunting ground, or that area, and it's just great on any time of year, spring, summer, autumn, winter, to just get your boots on and just go for a walk. It's got pathways everywhere running through it. You can easily do 10k without thinking about it and never leave the forest, and it's just a very great place to chill. And in summer, people go and have picnics and generally take the kids out, which is a good idea. But this isn't going to save the world, because as Claire is saying, I'm not sure writing poems will save the forest. Right.
Sorry, folks, it looks like from the battery was going to be in the blink. Okay.
All right, all good. Yeah, you just brought back a memory, which I'm going to run with for a moment. It's 20 years ago. And we're talking about cremations and ashes. There's a beautiful spot in North Yorkshire, which is Malham Tarn. And Malham Tarn is in setting countryside. It's actually surrounded by farms, and there's a waterfall and limestone rock, and the waterfall now actually goes behind the rock face and comes out at the bottom into a stream. And it's just an idyllic place to be. And from the heights, if you climb up to the top of Malham Cove, you can actually see all around. You can see 5 counties from there. In 20 years ago, this month, in 1999, with my son, I climbed Malham Cove carrying my wife's ashes. And her ashes are actually scattered on Malham Cove. And that sort of what you were talking about then actually brought back the memories, and probably is going to be mixed feelings today. Let's move on.
Yes.
Now,
Okay.
my mum, dad, and half my sister were sprinkled on the lawn at the crematorium in a big oblong shape. Because mum and dad died within 6 weeks of each other, and my sister had sat in their cupboard at home, the half of my sister had come to the UK.
Right, one quick way to change the mood, as Peter suggested earlier, is to talk about Brexit.
What?
Yeah.
What is it ever going to happen?
No. So what they're saying now is, if they don't leave on the 29th, is it true that some Labour opposition shadow cabinet are resigning? Is that true? Something
There's
like
some
that.
Conservatives resigning, there's some Labour resigning. The only people who are keeping it together are Lib Dems, because they're not in power.
Right.
It's a mess, a total mess. I mean, there's another set of votes tonight which mean nothing, which are not binding on anybody. And what the government may well be defeated again tonight in the votes.
Probably will.
And the EU are turning around and saying, well, why should we negotiate with somebody who can't even persuade their own government or our own parliament? So
do you think it will end up in a walkaway WTO? Do you think that will happen?
No.
What makes you think that?
Because even Mrs. Merkel's frightened of that happening. Look at the announcements of the lack of sales of German cars that are not being bought over here.
Right. Okay. Is it been a big decline?
Yeah.
Okay. Quite interesting. So, do you think there was some? But do you think the EU are being stubborn as well?
aren't all of us stubborn in some way?
It's a bit like poker, though, isn't it? You don't play your hand until the last moment.
No.
Yeah.
This is what I've always said right from the beginning to my partner. I says, one day Theresa May will stand up, because Rees-Mogg's right behind her now, and she's going to say, we've tried to negotiate, renegotiate, and they have left us no option. The EU have left us no option but to leave on WTO rules. And it'll look bad on the EU, it won't look bad in Britain. That's just my view. Remember this recording.
We're doomed. We're all doomed if we leave on the 29th without an agreement.
There's 40 trade agreements, that we are automatically covered for by the
WTO.
No, by the EU. Of that, we've only successfully negotiated 4 of them. Yeah, and they're all, apart from Switzerland, they're all obscure places you've barely ever heard of.
True. Stephen, as you probably guessed, you walked back into the politics section of the show where we discuss what we know about Brexit.
He's looking lordly now instead of ghostly.
Yeah.
But he's also frozen.
Oh dear.
He's a waxwork.
No. If we just
well.
capture, oh, he's gone now. I was going to say we could make a stamp out of him, couldn't we? Because he's just looking lordly, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, yesterday it was said by Mrs. May and by one of her ministers that they weren't running the clock down. Nowhere were they running the clock down. But we're well, March 29th is getting closer and closer.
Her civil servant in the bar, there was a Sky News reporter or an ITV reporter and the cameraman, you didn't know who they were, and basically said it's May's way or no way, and there will be an extension, you know, and that's the chief man that's negotiating for it.
Our chief negotiator.
Yeah,
Oliver.
yeah. So I think he's got too much say. Yeah, he should just be there to implement. And,
or did he deliberately leak that to force somebody else's hand?
Reggie Perrin. Raise up the flagpole, see if it flies.
Yeah.
No, that was a series. Anybody remember Reggie Perrin?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. He actually died quite young. Leonard Rossiter.
He did.
Quite died young. Shame.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He was in the adverts with God, what's the woman's name?
Shinzano adverts, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't think of her name.
Elizabeth Taylor. Was it Elizabeth Taylor?
No, it was the other, one of the sisters. You know, the one writes books and the other one's there.
Jackie Collins and the other Collins.
The other Collins, can you remember her name? Because I can't.
No, I can't remember. Yeah, can't remember.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right. Okay. Right. Now, it doesn't seem so long ago that we witnessed the first flight of the A380, the Airbus A380.
Joan.
Hang on a minute, we're still on the
Joan Collins, yeah.
Joan Collins, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
A380.
The reason it's gone is, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Peter, yeah.
The reason it's gone because United Arab Emirates have actually reduced the size of the planes. Yeah.
Stephen.
How many of you guys in your jobs, in your companies, do you think are going to be affected by tariffs? So the reason I'm asking is that supposing you're a small app developer and you buy services in from India and America, and you do deals between yourselves, when do the governments get bothered about this sort of trade? Because remember, there's millions of small businesses doing business with, you know, countries in the EU, countries outside of it. When do they get interested in poking around? And
well, they got interested at the VAT level, didn't they?
So again,
they got interested at VAT level.
Yeah.
But that hasn't worked properly because I deal with two British companies. I pay them exactly the same amount in dollars every month. And one of them is now saying part of the money is VAT, and the other one is just ignoring VAT.
I get that. Because you have, I mean, I used to be VAT registered, I've deregistered recently. But you always had to fill there's 2 boxes you had to fill in to do with work or payments to EU.
Boxes. Have you bought anything from the EC and have you sold anything to the EU?
Yeah, but yes, indeed.
I've been doing mine today, so I remember well what you're talking about.
So as I said, Pete talks about WTO terms and things like that. But for us, for your level, Peter, the government interference in trade deals, is it going to affect you? Do you think?
And it's not going to affect me, but what did affect me was the European Union turned around a few years ago and said, we're withdrawing all poisons or rodenticides, taking them right off the market. And it's the only time our industry had to fight Brussels, and we've got our MEPs involved, we've got our MPs involved, and it was overturned. And that's one reason I don't like it, because they just the click like that would have, in the country, would have had rats and mice all over the place, because there's only so much you can do with traps, and they would have had a field day. And we actually fought them. And so that is one reason. How European could close people down overnight with one simple bit of legislation. Because remember, before Europe, we had the British Standards Institute, and many people worked to the British Standards Institute level. And that's one of the reasons for me. And that's self-interest. Yeah, I know other people who trade with the EU. They've got self-interest. The fishermen, they've got self-interest. So everybody's got their own self-interest in the EU. And not being in the EU. That's one of the problems. If it's going to close your factory overnight, you're going to be interested in that.
Yeah, but how would they do that? How would they do that?
I don't know, but I can talk very briefly about someone I know in Birmingham who has for years been buying stuff from Holland.
Yeah.
She, and it is a she's the managing director, has gone out and looked for alternative sources. She's going to buy a very large percentage of what she's been buying from Holland from Zambia.
Wow. No, good on her.
It's controversial, Zambia, in a way, but the climate is right, and the product can be equally as well grown there as it can in Holland, and the expertise is there now.
Yes. So there you go. So you've got to look elsewhere. You've got to look at different ways of doing things.
Yeah, I agree entirely. But I was just wondering, because there's all this. I mean, I think a no deal equals WTO rules, doesn't it? From the 1st of April or something like that.
Yeah.
Unless there's if we crash out and there's actually following a crash out, there's still some residual. They're not going to stop the trucks going overnight, I don't think.
No.
But
no.
Is it ever going to impact on my business relationship with this Indian company? I don't. Do you think it ever will?
Indian company.
Well, why should it? Because you're not dealing with them via the EU now, are you?
No, I agree, but I was thinking from the WTO rules and all the tariffs that that may or may not apply to services.
The problem is we don't know. That's the bottom line.
It just strikes me as another chance for them to screw it all for our government. And I'm not talking the politicians because they're just beyond the pale. Yeah. But the actual government would find some way to screw that up.
Well, it's already in place. I was listening to it, but we pay money to the WTO now, and we're in place. I was listening to this. We're actually in place to just start right away. They say, that some countries have to say yay or nay or whatever, but whatever happens, we've got in place. And when we leave, we've also got up to 2 years to carry on Article 24, which they keep hiding from, where we carry on as normal until things change. Yeah, it's just using, you'd have to look into Article 24, but when that was mentioned by a certain person in the European Parliament, they started to panic because they know what Article 24 means. Carry on as normal.
24 of the Lisbon Treaty, Pete.
Yes, I believe that's the one.
God's site can't be reached.
Is that right? There you go. They've taken it down. They're scared.
Oh no! The LisbonTreaty.org. Bloody hell.
Yeah. I mean, who can sit and read through every article and know? It's not our job. You know, it's the politicians and the mindings. Pardon?
What happens to VAT? Because VAT is a European directive, not a UK directive. Now it can be put into UK law, but strictly speaking, VAT is a European-wide tax.
That doesn't sound right,
John, lean back. You've affected your
VAT on.
Sorry?
Thatcher created VAT.
No, Thatcher implemented VAT. VAT is a pan-European thing.
That's right, and they put it up to 20%.
Each country can determine their own level.
Ask Google who invented VAT. He said, somebody also asked, who invented the world?
John, just to let you know, when you lean forward, your speech changed, so stay there. No,
we're being directed today by Mr.
Nobody
Peter
can
Stewart.
sit and look at all the rules.
Oh my God, guess what? It was Maurice Loret, the joint director of the French Tax Authority, who implemented the VAT on 10th of April 1954.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I don't see the government changing the 20%.
Sorry?
Yeah. I don't see the government changing the 20%.
No, it isn't the 20%. It's, do we change VAT into something that's just a UK law?
Yes, they probably will.
Well, it is in UK law now, isn't it? Because anything that comes out of Europe, we automatically adopt.
Yeah, for the media.
In law.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we don't have to have the same rules as the rest of the EU once we've parted company.
Agreed. Oh, I agree.
Change the whole structure of VAT.
They won't change. There was even talk of regional tax. I don't know if you know this, but in Edinburgh, there's now a £2 levy per head as a tourism tax when they go into hotels. Were you aware of that?
The Edinburgh hoteliers and B&Bs are up in arms about it. It's actually been well addressed isn't the right word, but it's been in our news.
Yeah. So
it's happened in the UK, hasn't it? Before Bristol comes to mind. I don't know why.
Well, Bristol were the first people to come up with their own local currency, weren't
That's
they?
True. In Vegas, the bedroom tax, whatever you call it, it's gone up from something like $5 a day to over $20 a day now. And there's a big kickback against it, of course. But once you get in, it's like the tax on plastic bags. I mean, it started off as a 5p bag, and now they're being phased out because of they don't want to do single-use bags at all. So it's now 10 pence.
But that's not a government rule. Okay, that's something that all the major supermarkets subscribed to and then became legislation.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
because we went to South Wales and walked into Morrison's. Yeah, this is going back a few years ago, and put the bag on, and they said, "You're English, aren't you?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You do know it's 5p a bag in Wales?" And we went, "What?" Because the Welsh had it long before we did.
Yeah. There's even talk of local sales tax in the local councils. Now, when you go to America, they've got sales tax, and that's how they pay. But I didn't know in America that's how they bring their money in rather than income tax. It's sales tax that does it. You know, strange.
Well, income tax are so much lower over there that they've got to get in a different way.
Yeah.
But then they don't have VAT, so you know. It's
I was. John, you're breaking up a bit, my friend. I was sitting speaking to a guy one day, a golfer, and in a shopping mall in America. I was telling him about our VAT and we're 40% tax. He couldn't believe it. He could not believe it. He says, 40%? I says, yes. And then VAT on top of that, you know.
Although VAT doesn't apply to everything.
Yeah.
Food, children's clothes, for instance, are exempt.
They can even say, the woman now that Britain, they could say, your sanitary products, we're not going to put VAT in them anymore. They can do all that now. They can do all that now, you know.
Not yet, but soon.
Not yet, but soon they can say things like that. And they can say it to all big companies and said, listen, we're going to be a technology centre. We're going to have one in Wales. We're going to have one in Scotland. And if you come here, we will build the premises for you. And we'll give you this and we'll give you that as long as you employ our workforce. Yeah. All these things might happen. Tax incentives to get people back into jobs. What do you think?
Well, the tax rate in America for a single person for between $38,000 and $82,500 is 22%, which I remember that's better in quotes across the range than ours.
I thought they'd just done it in sales tax. Does it not depend in the region?
No, for income, this is income tax.
This is income. They do have income tax, but it's still much lower. Than...
Okay, yeah. So, yeah.
If you're on 90K in the States, 90K dollars, tax rate, marginal tax rate is 28%.
There you go.
And
it's not bad, is it?
90K is about 82,000, and well, no, perhaps a little bit less. Say it's £80,000, because there ain't much differential these days, is there? Maybe 75. Well, you'll be paying a lot more than 28%.
Okay, I've got the state and local sales tax rates, and you definitely want to go to Alaska, where it's 2%. You don't want to go to Louisiana, where it is. Hold on. Alaska's 2%, and Louisiana is in the region of 5 to 10%.
Yeah. So it just, I don't know.
So even so, that's, you know, we do 15%, don't we, on VAT?
20%
VAT is.
Oh, sorry, I'm going back in time a bit there, aren't I?
It was once 17.5%. Right. Okay. Now we've got.
It was very difficult to calculate.
Yes, it was.
That's right.
We have a Scottish story to finish with, which may well go in the whole length of Great Britain, and that's Glasgow primary schools are to trial car-free zones around schools at primary schools.
We've already got them in Solihull.
You have?
Yes. Right. Only we have 4 schools that were experimental, but the experiment has now finished and become permanent at those 4 schools, where only local residents can drive down the road where the school is between certain hours of the day.
Yeah.
And there is no parking by the schools.
But what I've seen in the television and that, and the reports, half the problems, the mothers coming up with big 4x4s and parking on roundabouts. I've seen that one and stuff like that. But there's one, I don't know if you've seen it, there's one school, all the kids go in a caravan of bicycles, and they all meet up along as they go along, and they join and have a caravan with the adults on their bikes going to school. And it looked really, really good, you know, really good.
But we do already have 4 schools spread around the borough where they've been doing this, and one of them is actually quite local to where I live, and they turn up, right, with PCSOs randomly, at either end of the road, and anybody who turns in the road gets a ticket.
How do they know they're not?
Prove that they live in the road. If they're a resident, you don't have a problem.
Oh, talking about tickets, did I tell you I beat a private parking company?
Yeah.
You're my hero now.
Somebody couldn't believe that I'd done it, and he says, "How did you do that?"
And again.
I love it. I just hate those things, but I won.
Is it? I've heard that if you ignore it, they can't touch you. Is that the case?
No.
No, well, a woman in Dundee was made bankrupt. She kept, I think it was Aberdeen, but it was council ones. But the private ones, what they do is they try and take somebody to court to prove. And they've done it in England, it's different in Scotland. And when I got the last letter in saying, we're now charging you £240, and it says, and to remind you, we won a court case. I said, all right, okay. So I looked into it and I wrote, you never give them the name of the driver. You have to tell the police, but not a private. So what I done was I looked it up and I said, I have tried several times to find out who was driving that day, because we have hired vehicles and the guys go about in twos sometimes and nobody will admit to it. And I got a letter right back and it said, case admonished. Yeah, couldn't they tell who the driver was? And they've got to know who the driver is. So that was the private one. And I was no hassle with it.
Going back, Celia used to take my mum shopping in Aldi in Acox Green, and my mum had 2 sticks, and it really would take her an hour and a half plus to go round. And there are 2 shops in sharing the same car park, and they'd go from Aldi into Farm Foods. Yeah. So they were easily out there. We got the ticket. We challenged it with Aldi and explained about this. And not only did Aldi get Parking Eye to write the ticket off, Aldi got the registration number up so that it could stay 3 hours in the park, and that was amended on the local computer system that does the photography. So, you talk nicely to the store and you can get a good result.
Oh, yeah. But this, I spent 4 hours there that day going to different shops. No, I didn't. A driver did. Someone did.
On the internet.
You're too late. But, yeah. So that's it. So just to let you know, it's when they do it, it's an invoice. It is not legal.
I know,
it's an
but
invoice.
in the UK, multiple people have been done. The local ice rink has you get your ticket and you get your discount off your skating. Yeah. So you don't pay to park, and also they have first whatever one of these gyms showing the same car park. Then again they're there, and they have taken people to court and won in that car park.
Yes. Okay, I think Stephen's chomping at a bit because we have to watch our time.
You going out, Stephen?
Sorry, who?
Are you going out?
John, it's over to you.
Oh, I wonder whether you were going out, whether you were desperate to get away. What is the weather like, Stephen, where you are?
Which one of us?
Both of you, then.
I'm going out. Right.
It's set fair today.
Glorious and sunny. And the palm trees and the temperature.
Not sure about the temperature. I'm going out to practice with my gimbal today, seeing as the weather's good. Right, so we've hit 11 o'clock, so it's time for us all to say goodbye. So that's goodbye from right in the far north, with the block of flats behind his beautiful office. Goodbye from Stoke-on-Trent. Goodbye from Wiltshire, and goodbye from Solihull. See you all next week. Bye.
Bye.